We have some questions that we have from, and this team fits there perfectly. Right? So nowadays, group online as well as offline group classes have become popular, and it's very natural that players of different levels come together. They enroll for classes. So we have a question from Mr. Jeff in US. So how do you teach groups of children at different levels? Like how do you manage this?
I think it's not so easy to have a big group. Over the years, I've realized it's better to have specific rating target groups. It's actually it is difficult if you have a bigger group and the rating range is widening more and more. I think the teaching becomes more and more difficult. Basically it is you cater to this end of the spectrum or that end of the spectrum. You cannot stay in the middle at that point. Because what will happen is, let's say if the rating group is, let's say, 1,000 points, if you stay in the middle, you might make it irrelevant for too many people. So typically what coaches do is, if the rating gap becomes bigger, then usually you cater to the top group. Because you work with the top group, the lower group might not understand everything, but it's still a learning experience in some sense. They might pick things here and there, and they will still, and also they might feel motivated or more inspired to be with a higher group, to learn a tougher lesson. So there are still positives to look forward to. But let's say if you're in a big group and you cater to the smaller level, then you completely lose the top group. So anyone above that who's finding it too easy, they're not finding it challenging. So basically to say it, if you want to, swing one way or the other, you swing to the side of more challenge, not less challenge. Mm-hmm. Right? You can push them harder or less. But in general, you do want to limit the groups to a certain rating range so you can teach relevant topics for that rating range. That's actually the best part of the learning experience, right? Because they really need to learn a few things for their level. You cannot stay relevant if the group widens too much. In fact, we were doing this, launching this new pro chess training. Yeah. And one of the main discussions as coaches with Ramesh and Ganguly, and when we talk about it, that's the main thing. We want rating targets. Okay. We cannot work on specific groups if the rating is like too wide. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, this problem has become, in fact, more profound, in recent years, because previously the ratings used to start at a particular level. Now it's inflated and right? So when you talk about range, when you were mentioning about ranges, so what do you think is some ideal range where you can actually segment students accordingly?
In our academy, in Kings and Queens Chess Academy, that's the one that we run in US, and we currently have locations in New Jersey and North Carolina. And because of the COVID, of course, all the classes are online. But in our academy, we segment about 300 points in USCF. Oh. So we keep each rating group for about 300 points, and then maybe in the higher group, I would say roughly 300. It's very difficult to have an exact number. I think you could do 300, 400, 200. I mean, I really don't see how I can. Anyone can be extremely specific and say exactly the right number. It's very difficult, I think. Okay. But overall, 300 seems to be a good number for us to create a split. So we set our number on that limit.
Yeah, nicely put. I mean, it is an industry in it will evolve over a period of time, so to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.